of an editorial, is it an editorial?
Yes,
Published in Al Jamhuriya.
Special article it appears, yes.
Special article.
Saudi
That's right. So, I was telling you that the entire episode of the Gambia was completely distorted, out of shape. And as it is typical of this editor, he excels in white lies while he is not a white man. See? The whole Gambian situation is so distorted that it's no longer recognizable. He thinks that I praised the Gambian president just to show off that he has turned in the favor of Ahmadiyyah while he had not. While he continued to behave as an anti-Ahmadiyya rabbit, as it is expressed, I still went on praising him. It is not so. This president of the Gambia, Mr. Jame, is basically not straight. He was crooked in the beginning, he is still behaving in the same manner, but within that crookedness there was a phase where he openly praised Ahmadiyyah and publicly condemned the Mullah, whose picture is also given here, whose name is what?
Imam Fateh.
Fateh. It's called Imam Fateh. So I'll tell you what happened and how it happened. It's the fact that we continue to send a message of mubahala to Imam Fateh on the plea that this mubahala is not against the country. This mubahala is only addressed to those who insist that Jamaat Ahmadiyya believes in this and that, such beliefs as absolutely are horrifying to Ahmadiyyah. These so-called Ahmadiyya beliefs included that Hazrat Masih Maud had claimed to be a higher prophet than Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah. These allegations included that we have invented a new religion. These allegations included that we have cancelled the Quranic teachings. And Hazrat Mirza Sahib, God forbid, has claimed to be a new prophet in the world. He has cancelled Islam, practically. And all these things and many others were alleged against Ahmadiyyah and are still being alleged in this, the so-called anti-Ahmadiyya Muslim literature by the Mullahs. And it's being widely published everywhere in the Arab world and in the Gambia, etc. Our plea was that we do not want government to choke the voice of this Imam at all. This is not our plea. Let him speak whatever he may. But these views should not be given an official backing, as though these were the views of the government of Gambia. Moreover, we had claimed that if he speaks against an imaginary Ahmadiyyah, which is not our Ahmadiyyah, we should be given at least the equal right to deny all this and tell the people of the Gambia through the same means of televisions, etc., that he is condemning an Ahmadiyyah which we too condemn. These horrible views are not Ahmadiyya views. This is our views. Let him condemn them. And we shall answer them. But to make an imaginary figure of Ahmadiyyat and then try to demolish it, that is extremely stupid. So we repeatedly told the people of the Gambia and this president that our muwala is addressed to this issue only. If anyone, including you and your government officials, insists that these are the Ahmadiyya views and they are un-Islamic views, so we condemn Ahmadiyya, then we request you to make a signed statement that we still insist that these are Ahmadiyya views. While the Ahmadis reject these views as theirs. But we still insist. If you do that, then you will be under the curse of God. If you attribute to us views which we do not possess, which we reject altogether, and you swear by God that these are their views, only then you are addressed in that muwala, not otherwise. And it is only for you to say, to announce publicly that I stick to my position, that Ahmadis believe in this and that and that and that, and they are non-Islamic views and we are against them. In response we will say, yes, we are against these views. There is no doubt about it. But if you insist they are ours, then Allah will punish you. Not the Gambia. Never, even once it was referred, this muwala was referred to the people of the Gambia and the country of the Gambia. Let him translate this much and then I'll tell you about and why I withdrew my praise. Now, this President Jammeh has an associated by the name of Mr. Bojing, who is the Minister of Religion as well as, who was the Minister of Religion, no more so, but who was also holding the portfolio of Interior Ministry. They have been at one throughout. It was Mr. Bojing who promoted the tour of Mr. Fateh, the President Fateh, I should say, and they took along Imam Fateh with them. Throughout, he has been the key-pin in the whole drama. But Imam Fateh, in fact, is nobody. He was just used as a mullah. The real understanding was between Mr. Bojing and the President. So they went on hand in hand. They, in the beginning, took the strong plea that the mullah should be permitted to do whatever he likes and all his propaganda should be televised. So the public of the Gambia will receive the impression that the President has permitted him to do so, so these are his views. At that, we did two things. Number one, we insisted that Imam Fateh should accept the muwala as we have proposed, not as he is imagining that he has accepted the muwala. He should make a statement insisting that these are the Ahmadiyya views, these are Ahmadi doctrines, and if not, that Allah may curse him. That was one line of action. The second was that we repeatedly wrote to the President and this Minister Bojing that this is happening in your country, and if you do not raise a voice against this, then you will be understood to be involved in this. And at the same time, we let the rest of Africa know what was happening in the Gambia. The Ghana, Nigeria, every other African country were informed that here is the case of the Gambia, either you should demand that they should get out of Africa and become a part of Saudi Arabia or Pakistan if they like. But together with their extremist religious stance, they cannot be permitted to remain a part of Africa which is secular. And on this secularism of Africa, there is no compromise. So choose between the two. Either be secular or get out of Africa. This was done in such powerful way that leading newspapers of West African countries wrote articles arresting Sadr Jame. This is a choice for you. And also foreign governments who were their mentors, like Canadian government, etc., they also made it known to Mr. Jame that there is no way of running a government. Choose between the two things. And then, of course, we should continue to help you, but knowing what you are. So he, at that pressure, he succumbed. And he made a public statement which was publicized in newspapers and televised and broadcast on all radio. The statement was made by the Secretary General in the name of a cabinet decision. It said that the cabinet, which was attended also by the President, has decided that Ahmadies are West Muslims. No one who will call Ahmadi a non-Muslim will escape our punishment. The government of Gambia has decided to support Ahmadiyyat fully. Whatever they do in the name of Ahmadiyyat, what they propagate and this and that, we fully endorse that. And we warn Imam Fateh that he is a filthy-mouthed person. Whatever he has said against Ahmadiyyat, the government has nothing to do with it. But now we issue a warning to him that he will never be allowed to say a single word against Ahmadiyyat, either from the State House Mosque or from any other forum. If this man does it, he will not escape punishment. Now, this was a statement at which I praise, of course. I said, thank you, Mr. President Jame. This is a very good statement. Although we do not need your help, Ahmadiyyat does not require any help from your government. But I must say that this is a clear pronouncement telling the whole world where you stand. Now, can anyone say it was wrong of me to have praised him for this? But he was not straight even that. He was smarting under the wound of Ahmadiyyat standing against, confronting him and making him bow to the, which should have been the right position, which said, I still do not believe I am a straight person. But this statement was publicized, televised, and telecast everywhere. After this, we received a letter from the Secretary of State, which said, it inquired, asked the Amir to come to meet him, and he will hand him over the decision of the cabinet. That decision was absolutely different from what was publicized. This private information handed over to our Amir was that Ahmadis are only permitted to come back if so and so the principle they had, they come back, but they make a vow that they will not propagate Ahmadiyyat in any capacity. The staff, if it comes, the missionaries are not allowed anywhere. Even the non-missionary staff will have to vow that they will not propagate Ahmadiyyat, their religion, and this and that. So we wrote to them. We said, all right, we want the doctors, the missionaries, the heads of the departments to return to the Gambia to serve your cause. We do it because the people of the Gambia are crying for them. It's not a party reaction. From both sides, from the opposition and from the government side, the people of the Gambia are loudly criticizing the government, the act of the government, and they want them back. And they're suffering. So only in view of their suffering, I have decided that they should return, but not on your conditions. So either you make a public statement that all that was announced in the name of the cabinet was sheer rubbish. It was not cabinet decision. The cabinet decision was to continue with the same policy of anti-Ahmadiyya. And if you make an announcement, then I will think of sending them back, because at least you will have straightened the facts. No answer. Repeatedly I demanded. I said, please, what's your decision? No answer. And no change in their policy of obstructing the passage of Ahmadiyyas as previously Ahmadiyyas used to work in their country. So having waited and waited and waited, sending repeated reminders, I at last told the President that although I withdraw all my demands, I do not want your government to be embarrassed by declaring that our cabinet decision as announced was sheer rubbish. Don't condemn yourself. But we will not return on your terms. Rest of the West Africa has received Ahmadiyyas with open arms, and they have not imposed any condition on their working. So my only demand is that do not support Ahmadiyyas, but do not impose any condition on Ahmadi workers which has not been imposed by the rest of Africa. That's all. And no answer. Still, this is the position. The public stance of the government is exactly what I've told. The hidden, secret stance of the government is this, what I tell you. Now, when we warned that if you do not accept even this plea by Ahmadis, that you should permit us on the same terms as West Africa accepts us, or we shall not return. Because they had not answered, but they were embarrassed by the mounting pressure. So Mr. Jame recently toured Gambia. And what he said, I'll say after this discussion. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, this president has taken the plea now that he has imposed restrictions on Ahmadis only because of their misbehavior towards me. He said they misbehave towards me and towards the country Gambia because they challenge me that they'll pray against me and the Gambia. So how can I support a people who pray against my country? Now this is the plea he has taken to mislead the public opinion in the country as well as the foreign observers. Having said what I have told you, he said, what right had he got to make a volte-face and go back on whatever he had committed? So he has taken this plea, referring to the mubahala which was sent to him by Mr. Daud Hanif. My mubahalas was sent to him by Daud Hanif. He has distorted the message by declaring that this is a proof that we have turned against him and against the country. Now, in that mubahala, all that is said is, do not attribute to Ahmadiyyat what Ahmadiyas do not believe. If you do it, and if you do it in the name of Allah, then we leave that to Allah. Then Allah will not punish the country, but those who do this. And it is up to him to take any decision. Now, how could it be an insult to anybody? If I say, don't attribute to me things which I don't believe in, I have every right to do so. And if somebody insists, I have a right to tell him, all right, this is a fight between you and God. That is what was said. Now he made a recent tour of the country and tried to mislead the public opinion himself by insisting, you want Ahmadis back? How can I have them back? When they didn't mention Ahmadis, the word Ahmadis. How can I have a people here who are praying constantly against my country? This is the man. So, what I have said, these are facts. Whatever else he has written, this man, is rubbish. That's all I want to say.